Good morning class, Sairam. Today we are going to start our next chapter and which is dual nature of matter and radiation, or you can say dual nature of light. Actually in this chapter we will learn that light has dual nature. Okay, it behaves like a you can say for a particle, or it behaves like a wave. So in this chapter, in previous chapter we have learned some concept which were like interference, okay, and then we learned diffraction. So these were some phenomena which proved that light has what wave nature. Now we will learn some phenomena which prove that light is made up of particle and it shows particle nature, or you can say it shows like a nature followed by a ray. Okay, so the first topic we need to understand, that is a photon. So understand what is photon. Actually from the sun we assume that light is coming out, okay, and here we assume that light is coming out in form of rays, okay, and these rays are made up of very small particles. Such particles are named as photon, okay, it is named as photon. So here you can understand what is actually a photon. A photon is a packet or bundle of energy. Okay, photon is basically what, that is a packet or bundle of energy from your source of light. We assume that a packet of energy, small packets of energy are coming out, okay, and when these small packets fall on any particular surface, then these small packets provide energy to that surface. If this light falls on our body, then we get warm, okay, or we get some kind of heat. So what is the energy of such packets? Energy of a photon is given by this formula, that E equal to h nu, where h is what? H is your Planck's constant, and mu is what? That is frequency of the photon. And we know this is equal to what? This is equal to hc upon lambda, because your frequency is written as c upon lambda. Now we will understand some properties of photon. What are the properties of photon? So understand, as photon is nothing but ray only, or ray is made up of photon, so speed of photon will be what? Speed of photon is considered, that is speed of light, or we can say a photon travels at a speed of light, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Okay, then we have second property of photon, and the second property says that the mass of photon is zero, or photon cannot exist at rest. Its rest mass is how much? If you will weigh this, its rest mass is considered zero. However, because your particle has momentum, so we can write its analog mass. Momentum means it has some velocity, it has some energy, so we can say that it has some analog mass. And that analog mass is what? That analog mass is called kinetic mass. As you can see in property number 3, it is called kinetic mass. So how we calculate its kinetic mass? We just apply this formula, that in classical mechanics your momentum is given by mass into velocity, or from here you can say that your mass is nothing but momentum upon velocity, okay, or you can call it, it is energy upon velocity. So here we have the formula for kinetic mass, that is your energy upon c square. Okay, because we know that energy is nothing but mc square. If you will divide it by c, velocity of light, you will get a quantity, that is mass into velocity, and that is what? Linear momentum. So that's why we are saying that it shows us the kinetic mass, and it is equal to hc upon lambda as well. And one more c we have here, that you can understand in this way. Okay, this is basically c square, so we will get what? We will get mc upon c, and finally dimension that we are getting, that is of mass. Okay, so I hope this formula is clear to you. How can we write this mc, this m equal to e upon c square? This formula is should be clear to you. And moreover, we know that in optics we can write energy equal to hc upon lambda. Okay, then you have to again divide it by c square, then c to c will be cancelled out. So h upon c lambda is also the formula for kinetic mass. Okay, third thing is what? Third formula I already explained you, that is momentum of a photon. So what is momentum of a photon? Momentum is given by E upon C. Okay, E you know that is mc square, and upon c, c to c will be cancelled out, and the quantity which we are getting, that is mass into velocity. Basically it is nothing but your momentum, equivalent to momentum. So we call it momentum of a photon. And one more formula is given, that is h upon lambda. We have to put it hc upon lambda, E equal to hc upon lambda, and one c is here, so we will divide it by c. So we will get this formula, that momentum equal to h upon lambda. Now what is the property number 5? Property number 5 says that photons travels in a straight line. Okay, photons, because ray that is coming out of the source that are moving in a straight line, so we can say that photons are actually moving in a straight line. Okay, next property is what? That is property number 6. It is saying that property number 6 is that energy of a photon depends upon the frequency of the photon. Okay, energy of a photon depends on what? Depends on frequency of photon, that is E equal to h nu, we already know. Now after that it says that, so the energy of the photon, here you can read that energy of the photon does not change when photon travels from one medium to another medium. Now we know that in ray optics we have already learned that if we have this normal line and this is your incident ray, okay, it bends towards the normal when it moves from rarer medium to a denser medium. Suppose this is your rarer medium, here we have denser medium. Then we know that in this condition the frequency is the only property which does not change. So basically this is basically frequency of photon, we can say that this is frequency of photon. So frequency of photon we also can say that it doesn't change. So it is saying that energy of a photon will not change, energy of a photon will not change when it will move from one medium to another or rarer to denser. Okay, because energy depends on frequency. So after that we have next property, that is property number 7, and this property says that the wavelength of a photon, here you can read that wavelength, property number 7, wavelength of a photon change in the different media, so the velocity of a photon is different for different media. Basically it follows all the rules which are given in ray optics, or you can say in wave optics. Okay, your incident ray and your refracted ray. Basically your incident ray will have some kind of velocity, that is c, and inside any medium your velocity get decreases if it is denser. Okay, so you can say that velocity of photon will also decrease. Similarly your wavelength inside the medium also decreases. Wavelength inside a medium can be given as wavelength in air and divide by mu. After that we have next property, and that is what? Property number 8. It says that photons are electrically neutral. That means photon is neither has positive charge, it neither has negative charge. Okay, basically it is what? It is electrically neutral. So if it is electrically neutral, then we can say that in property number 9 or property number 10 you can read first. In property number 10 it has mentioned that photons are not deviated by magnetic and electric field. We know that under any electric field only those particles which have some kind of charge, only those particles experience some force QE, or they get deviated by that force. Inside a magnetic field also your particle will experience some kind of force, that may be QVV, but only if it has charge. But if it doesn't have charge, that is Q equal to 0, then the force will also be equal to 0. Okay, and the second last property that was left is property number 9, and this says that the photons may show diffraction under given condition. It may get diffracted. Okay, if it strikes to some particle, it may get diffracted or it may get change its direction. Next property is what? Next property is called photoelectric effect. Okay, next property is what? That is photoelectric effect. So understand what is photoelectric. It says that the phenomena of emission of electron from the mainly metal surface exposed to some energy is called photoelectric effect. So understand what is it. Actually it says that if we have some kind of metal, okay, suppose here some metal is given, it may be iron or it may be anything. The best material is suitable, that is silicon, germanium, etc. Okay, semiconductor you can say, but here we are talking about metals. If we have some kind of metal, then in those metals if some UV rays means ultraviolet rays falls on that metal, then some electrons are emitted from that metal. Because metals are electron rich, so electrons are emitted, and we name these electrons as photoelectron. Why we name this photoelectron? It is just classification. Don't get confused that photoelectron is different thing. It is basically electron only, okay, but we name it as a photoelectron because it is emitted with the help of light or with the help of photon. Okay, that's why it is named as photoelectron or photo emitted electron. Now we know that inside any atom we have many number of electron which are revolving in different cells. Okay, then if your electron gets some kind of energy, then it go to the higher state, and from that n equal to 3 it may go to third level, it may go to n equal to 2 second level, then from that level it may jump to the ground state. Okay, in that condition it emits some kind of energy. Or if your electron is absorbing some kind of energy, then it will go from n equal to 1 to n equal to 3. Okay, both are reverse phenomena. And if it is getting very high amount of energy, okay, and that has a constant value, then it may get out of the metal also. That means it may go to the infinite state, or the last cell you can say, or that state is called that emission of electron. So similarly in visible light we see that if we choose other metal other than alkali metal, then no photoelectron is observed. Similarly visible light falls on alkali metal, then also we see some kind of photoelectrons emitted. Why these electrons are emitted? Because they are getting some kind of energy, and we know that when electron gets some kind of energy, it jumps to the higher state, and it is getting more kind of energy, it may come out of the surface also. That is called ionization. So after that what we need to understand, that is experimental setup, or you can say one setup which demonstrate us how photoelectrons are emitted. So this setup is nothing but it is called photoelectric effect setup, or setup for experiment of photoelectric observation. Okay, now understand what we have in this setup. Basically we have one cathode. Here you can understand this C is what? That is a cathode. Here also it is mentioned so that you can read it. We have basically a cathode rod. Okay, and that is why it is cathode, or it is basically connected to the negative terminal. Here you can understand the negative terminal, it is connected, and the positive terminal is connected to a metal plate, and this is your anode. Okay, metallic anode. Then what we have here some glass window. Okay, some kind of window we have provided, like you see in your homes you have windows. So similarly here you have a window which is basically a quartz window. Okay, W means what? Quartz window. Then UV light falls on this window. Okay, then after that it filters from that window and it falls on the cathode. Then what will happen? This cathode is nothing but that is a metal. This is your metal, and sunlight falls on that metal. Basically we are talking about, in simple word you can understand, we are talking about solar panel. Okay, or solar energy, how solar panel works. Basically we are discussing fundamental of that. So When your sunlight falls on that metal, some kind of electrons, these small dots represents your electron, they will be emitted. Okay, and they will just emit it from the cathode. But if we want that these electrons should move in the whole tube, or they should move in the whole circuit, for that we need to provide some kind of energy these electrons. Okay, to provide that energy, what we do, we just connect our anode to the positive terminal of the battery, and this positive plate basically attracts these negative particles. Okay, or you can understand in some another way also, and that is what, basically here we have negative charge and here we have positive charge. So some kind of electric field is set up from plus to minus. Okay, and we know that your electron are negative particles, so they experience a kind of force, that is ee, and they get attracted towards anode, or they move with this force, that is E into E. So finally what will happen, they will move from A to downward direction, and some kind of microampere, very small kind of current you can see, that will be observed. Okay, and you know that direction of current is what, direction of conventional current is always opposite to the motion of electron. So that's why here it is saying that from positive to negative, current is moving in reverse direction, because electron is moving in this direction, and some external circuit etc are provided, so that we can observe this effect of current. Okay, so this was the basic introduction to photoelectric effect. Some more terms you will read in few slides, like how your current varies, what will be the effect of light, intensity of light on the amount of current, or energy of photon. Okay, all that we will understand in the next lecture. Till then, okay, just revise all these concepts. Okay, thank you. Sai Ram.